Hey everybody. I just finished shooting that Olaplex video, and I hadn't intended to make any more videos, so I took off my crazy eye makeup and I put on some Bulgarian Rose moisturizer, and I settled in to catch up. I've just about watched everybody's video that's on my subbies list through today, and I came to two videos that made me want to turn the damn camera back on. The first one was by a transgendered woman named Rosie O'Kelly, who I just started watching as a result of finding her through RV Deb's channel. And she's a fascinating woman, very theatrical and entertaining and intelligent, talks about just a plethora of subjects, running the gamut from everything you can imagine. She taught transgendered issues, of course, but also work stuff, the idea about hitting the road and becoming an RVer, a lot of handiwork stuff they've done in their home, she and her girlfriend, who's also transgendered, whose name is Jen. Anyway, these people are really cool. And what she was talking about tonight was the idea of traveling, living a freewheeling sort of life, and how you'll see it in real young people, teenagers all the way up through about 30. Then there's this big gap in age, and then you'll see it again in retirees. And Rosie was positing the question, why don't you see people in middle age doing that? And it made me remember something that I had noticed years ago. When my dad hit his mid-40s or so, he bought a van. It was this conversion van. I think it had been a big Chevy van, and it was a Starcraft conversion van, and it was real deluxe. Had a fold-down bed in the back and a little sink that would pop out, and I think there was even a little chemical toilet you could pull out from underneath the seat, and it had captain's chairs that would swing around. It had two captain's chairs in the back and two in the front. You could swing the front ones around for like a conversation pit kind of deal. It had a sunroof, blah, blah, blah. It was really cool. Well, boy, my dad loved that van, but I noticed he didn't drive it all the time. I mean, he would drive my mom's car when he could, if he was just going to the grocery store or doing that kind of thing. And so it wasn't really set up for commuting around town, a big van with bad visibility. And it has occurred to me over the years, because I've noticed other men doing this in my life as I've gotten older. There is this thing guys have about vans. Vans represent the ability to just up and go. I mean, cut and run when the menopausal wife won't get, ease up off his back, and the teenagers are getting sullen, and the first kid in college is needing more money than he thought, and there's still a kid in junior high that has to be soccer mommed around town, and now his bosses are his age or maybe getting younger than he is, and he's having to worrying about jockeying for position in his job, and now he's got hemorrhoids, and he's losing his hair, and maybe he has to take Viagra because he's so stressed out, and life is just a bitch for this guy. So he goes out and he buys a van, and the van has everything he needs. It's got a bed, it's got a place to pee, it's got a little sink to wash his hands. He can just up and go. Now, does he do it? I'd say probably 99.99% of the time he does not do it. He simply drives this van around for a few years. He might get rid of it after 5 years or so, or he may hold on to it like my dad did. My dad held on to his van until he was 70, probably. Sold it and bought an RV that he never drove around in. Anyway, I think that escape fantasy is really important for people in their middle-aged, like me. I'm 55. And I have got one whopper of an escape fantasy. I have my little truck. I have my little Airstream trailer. I know that if the going gets tough, I can hook up the trailer and drive out of town and never look back. I have I can put all my craft supplies in the back of my truck, and I can go around doing craft shows and just disappear into America if the stress of life gets too bad. And the stress of life has gotten really bad. Of course, I'm past all the college-age kids and stuff because I had my kids early. I was 22 when my youngest child was born, and by that time my husband and I had split up. So, I had I wouldn't say a particularly rough time, but somewhat of a rough time getting those guys raised and grown up. And as an aside, I couldn't have done it without my parents. Okay, I was one of those people that bounced back home. Anyhow, not forever, but for a while. Anyhow, so, now my kids are in their mid-30s and they've got their own trip, their own lives. But I'm taking care of my mom, and I'm glad I can do it. Grant's taking care of his dad, and he's glad he can do it. But it's really beginning to wear on us. Right now, he's at home with a really bad cold that he's had for weeks, and it's not getting any better. In fact, it's getting worse. And I'm really worried about him. He's pushing, working on cars, trying to deal with his little part-time job that he's got because he hasn't been able to go in a while because first he was sick, then he was busy with family. So he's all stressed about going and getting that taken care of, and he's carrying around this awful cold, and he's really run down, and I just got off the phone with him. He's home in bed with the cats, and, I wish I could just leave and go home and, make him some tea and spend 3 days doing nothing but just kind of taking care of him and just being quiet and just being in our place. But we can't do that. We've got too many things we have to handle. So I really know from that escape fantasy, because I've got it in spades. So anyway, yeah, Rosie O'Kelly, I don't know if you'll ever see this video, but if you do, you have caused a lot of thought for me. You've gone in and hit my brain matter with a drink blender and caused me to think about stuff. So thank you for that. I also want to talk about another YouTuber who gave me something tonight. Like I said, I've been watching all the videos, and I came across one of the people I'm subbed to. Her name is Stacy Semiklit. S-T-A-C-E-Y, I think. Hang on. S-T-A-C-Y S-E-M-I-K-I-L-T, Stacy Semiklit. And she's a young girl, college age. She is Russian, but she's living in Australia. Presumably she's going to school there. And I think she has 3 subscribers, and she hasn't been doing videos for very long. I think she has 5 videos up. And she's got a wonderful, sweet, engaging personality. Just, she's one of those people that looks right in the camera and talks right to you. And she has a sweet voice and a pretty face and just an open way about her. I really liked her when I guess she had subbed to me, and I checked her out and I subbed it back to her. Anyway, tonight, I've been feeling really down and really depressed and worried about my husband, and just tired and run down. Blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. You're tired of hearing me talk about it. But I click on her tonight's video, and it was a shout out. Among other things, it was a shout out to me. And she was talking about how part of why she's doing videos now, and she's kind of putting herself out there, is because she had watched my videos and she found them to be inspiring. And that was exactly what I needed to hear tonight. I needed to hear that I'm not just blabbering into a camera and popping off with one-liners, that I can be inspiring. I can be helpful somehow. So that was very cool. Thank you, Stacy. I needed that so badly. It was a wonderful gift. So thanks. Also, I've noticed that my external landscape is usually a pretty good representation of my internal landscape. In other words, if I'm feeling scattered, freaked out, at 6s and 7s, just not balanced in my head, in my soul, is pretty much what you're going to see everywhere. You're going to see, which you can't see it. I suppose I can show it to you, but you can just imagine stuff everywhere. And when I talk, when I do my videos, they're very jumpy, and they'll kind of disjointed, like I'm doing tonight. And it bothered me a little bit, but then I realized, no, that's not a reason to be bothered, because my big deal, I mean, one of my big deals here on YouTube is to just be real, and just to not edit out my inner who I am thing. I want that to show, which isn't to say that I'm going to give you my ATM pin or anything, but you know what I'm saying. I want the me who I am to not be edited out. And so many times when we're out in the world doing our banking, going to the store, visiting with friends of friends or family that we don't see very often, or in our jobs, we have to put up these, well, they're not masks exactly. Filters, I guess is the word. You have to kind of filter how you are in different situations. But here, right here, you and me, I don't want to filter. I just want to be me without worrying about pulling my punches or saying something that might hurt somebody, because if something like that slips out, I know I can go back and say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it to sound that way. This is what I was trying to say. Because I'm a kind person by nature, but I find there are a lot of people in my life that I have to be extra super careful about not saying something that they might take the wrong way, and which is different than running roughshod over people. I don't do that, but I don't want to filter myself. So that's an invitation, actually. If I say something that's like, you're wondering, what the heck did she mean by that? Ask me, and I'll tell you. And, that's that. Well, I almost knocked over my water. I've been super freaking thirsty, super thirsty. I've been sucking down these glasses of ice water like crazy, which I need to do right now. Hang on. And it has something to do with the fact that it was like 90-something today and really humid, really uncomfortable. So that was what I wanted to talk about. I may come back tonight and do another video. It depends on what I see on the YouTube machine in the next few minutes. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening to me blather. It means more than I can possibly say. Bye.